Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Here with Neil, I want to introduce what we're going to be doing on a kind of weekly, bi-weekly basis. Today, we're going to learn all about Neil, his background, the origin stories, you name it. But going forward, we're going to talk about the company, of course, marketing plans, goals, growth, you name it. And please, if anyone watching has some questions, drop it below. We want to make it interactive, want to cover questions and any industry-like topics. But first things first, Neil, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. Things are fantastic. We were talking before recording. Ontario looks like they're opening for the final time, so I'm very hopeful. But here, kind of diving into it, usually like to kick things off with early career, what you were doing before the company, and then of course we'll talk about some past successes, and then lead it into founding the company and go from there.
Okay, sure. Well, yeah. So I was one of I am one of the co-founders of Indiva. We incorporated back in May of 2015. I didn't think in a million years I'd be CEO of a cannabis company, but my background really is on capital markets. So I managed money with a U.S. firm in Boston and worked in investment banking and worked inside actually the mining industry for a period of time. Mainly with public companies, doing corporate development and sat on some boards. And then in 2012, 2013, I started getting a lot of inbounds from friends and family that, everyone likes to ask the capital markets guy what stock to buy. And people were asking me how to invest in cannabis. And it caught me off guard. I had no idea that there was even a cannabis industry to invest in 2012 or 2013. And for the most part, there wasn't. But it got me excited, and I read the regulations and realized, wow, this is a big change coming to Canada. Obviously, at the time, didn't foresee the rec market, which really happened after the Liberals were elected to government. But that's how we got going. That's a bit about my background, and now Indiva is the leader in edibles.
Yeah, well, here we'll break this up a little bit. So, investment banking, pretty. Do you see anything cool, like whether it worked out or not? I'm curious. Is there any like interesting, battle stories that you want to share?
Well, I mean, most of that was in mining. I had run a precious metals fund, a gold fund, with a previous employer way back when. And so that led me to the industry. And so I had started a consulting firm where we were originating uh, deals for mining companies. So certainly traveled to some remote and interesting places in Africa, South America, Mexico. I've had my share of harrowing drives up and down the side of a mountain. I can remember visiting one project, and it felt like on every switchback there was a bit of a monument to what appeared to be somebody that might have driven over the cliff. And so we went up the mountain and came back down the mountain, and I was very thankful to get back to base camp, only to realize I had to do it again the next day. But that goes with the territory. And look, we take risks to generate return in this life, right?
Very true. The investor in you coming out. No, awesome. Well, so here now, walk me through. So people asking you about the cannabis industry. So how do you go from wow, okay, this is coming up, and then what makes you say, okay, there's an opportunity, let's start something rather than just invest in a bunch? Curious. So give me the origin story of Indiva.
Right. Yeah. Well, so the other co-founders were tangentially involved in the business, and so we started this company together. What got me interested well before 2015 really was reading the regs and understanding what was going on. I live in Ottawa, and there were starting to be some stories pop up about tweed, which was starting up in Smiths Falls, not too far from here, and so it piqued my interest. And when I read the regulations, kind of a light bulb went off in my head that wow, this is really going to go from a cottage industry that was not overly regulated to a highly regulated industry that would need strong companies, a lot of capital, and professional management. The nature of the business was interesting to me professionally and personally. I mean, on a professional level, cannabis is a short product life, a long product life cycle product. It should have good margins and generate lots of free cash flow. And the opportunity to build an annuity if we did it well versus, let's say, the mining industry, which is anything but an annuity, was appealing. And then on a personal level, I had friends and family that were medical users, which I wasn't overly aware of. But once I became aware of it, it really opened my mind to this is more than just a great business. This really helps people. And that led to the real big why behind all this is which is destigmatizing the use of cannabis. So all those things together kind of led to Indiva starting up.
Yeah, no, awesome. Well, a lot of cool videos that we'll do in the future. Obviously, what you saw in the industry back then, how it's changed, a little history, and then where it's going. We'll probably do, and of course, talking about how you guys have built such a successful brand now with kind of the leading edibles. So now what? Walk me through. So of course, boom, you started in Diva, fantastic. We'll go into kind of about the company on the next video. Tell me now, as the CEO, walk me through what your day to day, week to week looks like as a CEO of a cannabis company.
Yeah, this is the most dynamic, fast-paced, fun, and interesting industry I've ever been a part of, either as an analyst or inside, as running a company or as an officer of a company. So my day to day is, I would say, I can give you a laundry list, but a lot of meetings internally now. Our sales and production is growing, and the complexities are growing. So that takes a lot of my time. There's also a lot of inbounds and then outbounds on our part, either from me, through me, or with and through the team for new opportunities. A big part of our business model has been licensing award-winning brands and bringing them to Canada, and that's worked out very well for us. But that's not the only path to bring great products to market. So we spend time looking for new partnerships, new products, and doing that analysis. And was doing a lot of traveling before COVID, um, whether that's meeting investors or meeting with new potential partners, or even going into the U.S. and looking at mature markets. A lot of our strategy was around we have already mature markets to look at to see what people like. It may not be perfect, but um, what happens in Canada is certainly rhyming with what happens in the U.S. And so that would say generally that's what takes up most of my day. And then of course I like to visit dispensaries and make sure our products are on the shelf. And just nothing makes me happier than being in a dispensary and seeing people go in and ask for one or bang by name.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Cool. Well, look, appreciate the fact that we're doing these videos and a lot of cool ones to come. Building a successful product, brand, you name it. Comparison. So a lot of cool things we'll do going forward. But Neil, thanks so much for joining. This was an awesome intro video.
Thank you. My pleasure.